Well, one thing's for sure.
Yeah. This sends our podcast
in a whole new direction. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jade.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Erica.
And this is Perfectly Marvelous, a podcast dedicated to the hit Hulu show, Only Murders in the Building.
And on today's episode, we're reviewing Season 3, Episode 4, The White Room.
Woo! Yeah. Before we begin to watch the full video of this episode, just go to patreon.com/perfectlymarvelouspodcast and sign up to be one of our most marvelous members. Yay. And in addition to all of our Only Murders in the Building episodes, you can also listen to every one of our Marvelous Mrs. Maisel podcasts ad-free and see more videos and a bunch of extra film review podcasts and episodes. There's so much goodness that awaits you. So head over to that Patreon and give us some love. And we got to shout out the most marvelous ladies in all of the land, our patrons, Lisa, Gail, Kimberly, Melanie, Liz, Kathy, Melissa, and Jane. Our lady is practically perfect in every way. We love you. We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for the love and support.
And remember to subscribe and download wherever you're listening. So we can't see the amount of listens we get. We can only see downloads. So let us know that you're there by downloading.
Yes, we appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's solve some crime, bitches. Tits up.
Tits up.
Tits up.
Woo. All right. Spoiler warning, if you have not watched all of Only Murders in the Building up to Season 3, Episode 4, turn back now before it is too late. And as always, we're going to go scene by scene, break it all down. And we've all chosen who we think the murderer is. And with all of the information that we've been given to this point, we've written our answer down and sealed it in an envelope in some cases. Some of us don't have envelopes, but what you going to do? So we will share our whodunit theory at the end of the podcast. And I'm already thinking that mine is going to change as we talk about it, because this episode was unhinged.
Yes.
In a word.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was batshit insane. It was kind of like the red herring episode as well. I'm like, well,
the most red herring of all red herring episodes I feel like we've gotten in a while.
Right. Yeah, totally.
It was a lot.
So let's get into it. So we have this cold open at the beginning. Cinda's doing a voiceover while Mabel's doing an apartment search. And Cinda is explaining the difference between self-care rituals and obsessions. I did not know that we were going to see Cinda Canning again, and I got excited. Mm-hmm. I was excited about it. I was like,
I was happy to hear her voice.
Yay!
That's why I wish, some of the trailers, they would have kept it a little more downplayed, because she popped up along with Matthew Broderick and a couple other people in that Season 3 trailer, and I was just like,
she did?
Yeah, but it was very quick.
I totally
and since she was blonde, I think a lot of people may have overlooked her.
Because when she first came up, I was like, wait, is that? Oh, yeah, that's Cinda. Because I was thrown by the blonde.
I love how her podcast assistant is now also blonde with glasses.
Yes.
That was happy. But as soon as she started talking about, self-care and acting all zen, I was like, no, you're not. That's not true.
Yeah.
There's no way.
The theme of, she kept with the theme though.
Right.
Like the entire theme of the entire show was about like obsessions and.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So obsessions becoming unhealthy when you rely on them too much.
When rituals will ground us, but then it can become our undoing.
Yeah, they can become your undoing. And I really, really could relate to this because I think when COVID happened and we all had to be alone, we all found ways of coping to make us not feel so lonely, to kind of ground us and give us some semblance of normalcy. And I definitely got really, really into working out, my physical activity routine. And I found it really difficult to get out of it when we were able to kind of come out of our apartments and go back to the world. I felt like I had to do these certain amount of set exercises. I got very OCD with my yoga exercise routine. And it took me a while to let it go and to just be like, okay, there are some days when you're not going to get it all in, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow, that's incredibly relatable. And I wonder how many people have things like that kind of newly came into our lives that we had to shake.
Yeah, definitely.
I got used to sleeping.
Yeah, right.
Had to get used to not doing that real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true.
What's that?
Right? So my question was, what is Cinda recording? Because if she's not doing her podcast anymore, then what's she doing?
I assumed it was either working on a new podcast where she hasn't released it yet, or she's doing some sort of like self-help guru audio book recording.
I don't think it ever said, but yeah, she's talking about self-care being difficult in New York. And I'm like, oh, Lord, ain't that the truth? You know, and she said, in this city, we push, we shove, we occasionally urinate on each other. I was like, too true.
Yeah.
Sadly. But this did make me realize, where the F is the podcast? Are they still doing the podcast? Like, they haven't recorded, because at the end of episode 2, Mabel had the little handheld recording device, and she's like, we're back. And I'm like, but no, there's no podcast. Is Mabel doing it on her own? I mean,
I think they're investigating to be able to come up with some sort of theory yet at this point, because she and Charles, you know, at first they're like, oh, so maybe it was Psycho Greg. And then once they figured out the handkerchief situation, their theory is completely going in a different direction. So I think at this point, they're still investigating to be able to make some sort of episode.
I think that's actually happening though with this whole season so far. Like we're going this and this.
Yeah.
We can't even kind of like make a trail yet because we're just
all
like
over the
all over
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there
Totally.
are a few consistent themes and little nuggets that have popped up.
Mm-hmm.
There was a theme, though, talking about themes. This episode was very white. Mabel, like, in the apartment, her coat, the realtor's coat, even like Cinda. Yeah, she's blonde with her white candles and her cream colors that she was wearing. So it's like, I enjoyed that a lot. Mabel being in her white room and feeling really uncomfortable there and just being like, no, this is, it's not me. Juxtaposed with Charles, who goes into the white room later, who's like basking in the glory of his white room. He really seemed like relish in that white room and just be like in bliss, you know. When we talk about Charles, you know, at rehearsal and going into the white room, I want to hear your thoughts about that because I'm not actually sure what is going on with Charles there. I'm a little concerned.
Wild. Instead of like a blackout, it was a whiteout.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
He just
But I found it interesting because the next moment we see Joy, and Joy, if anything, is like bold, bright colors, patterns, like prints and red and black leather jackets. So totally opposite of the white thing that Mabel and Charles are.
She's all about color as a makeup artist. Like she is just in your face color.
Yeah, she's in your face a whole lot. So, before we get to that Joy scene, opening credits, I was proud. This one was very easy to spot, so I wasn't that proud. But
I want to hear what you saw because I looked and the only thing I noticed were the white windows.
Yes. The only other thing I noticed was I counted 11 or 12 black cats. And I went back and looked at
time.
There were a lot of black cats, and I did not notice because I was like, wait, are there always this many black cats? Like, what the fuck? I think there was 11 or 12. And I went back and watched other, like, season 2, and there was about 8 or 9 black cats. And in other opening credits of this season, same thing, like maybe like 6 or 7. I had never noticed this many black cats before. I'm like, am I on crack? What is going on?
That's funny. Sometimes I wonder what they just means. Like tweak teeny tiny things each opening credits to see if people will notice. Because this one too, I was just like, maybe it was because of all the white and the juxtaposition of the white and the black. But the black cats definitely seem to stand out more this time around. Some of the
I'm going to have to keep an eye on this black cat thing though, because it's symbolism.
I noticed they didn't have the one window that I guess is supposed to be Loretta. And Loretta was not in this episode.
I don't think that's Loretta.
No.
It does
I don't
not
think
look
so
like
either,
Loretta.
but I know
But it was
but it like
not there before.
Yeah,
and now
that's
it's
true.
detailed,
Yeah.
and then this time there was white over it.
It was gone. Yeah.
True. Okay, so let's get into this first scene where Joy has moved in with Charles, and she has brought a lot of exercise equipment and 62 fish.
Yeah. I guess now
62,
we know why in the trailer Charles is holding a fish. It has to be somehow tied to
Well, now we
Joy's
know.
fish obsession.
Now we know.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, but there's the first obsession, Joy with fish. And she has an obsession over Charles, too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Quite. That's been going on for a long time.
She makes me uncomfortable. Like, I just do not enjoy that character. And I don't
You don't
think
enjoy
I'm supposed
Joy?
to. No. I mean, she just...
Well, he likes women whose names begin with a J. And they're one syllable.
He's got a type, Charles. He's got a type.
Yeah, I got some Jan feelings, especially after the what was it? An antelope in the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But yet, I love Andrea Martin.
Yes.
I love her so much. She is such an amazing character actor, but I agree with you. This particular role it definitely makes you feel uncomfortable. She's so much in your personal space. Like, she gets right up into the camera to show she's like really close to Charles. So, I mean, kudos to her for that, because she hasn't played this part yet.
That's the thing. And I think that seems very intentional because Charles is kind of feeling suffocated and like it's a little much. And that is exactly how I was feeling watching this episode and having her on my screen. I was like, oh, okay, I'm with Charles. This is a lot.
And they're moving very quick.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So this is what I was like, whoa, she's already moved in. We've seen none of their relationship. I was like, okay, sure. Live your best. I mean, I don't know if Charles is living his best. I just don't. This was this whole episode, I was like, wait. Am I high? Am I on drugs? Am I dead?
Did I miss something?
Seriously, I'm like, did I take a bong hit? And I didn't, no one told me that I did? Because seriously, this whole episode was so batshit insane.
It was.
It just seemed like not real, or, like it seemed like a weird fever dream of only murders in the building.
It was a lot.
I don't know. Yeah, Joy was just the tip of the, she just really set the tone. Because although I love Joy, she's no Jan, let's just say. She does not have the same chemistry with Steve Martin as Amy Ryan. So I got to say, I do miss my Jan a little bit. But I love Andrea Martin. I love that she always plays just like freaking weirdos.
Yeah.
She does it so well.
So
She's very good at it.
Want to go to the fish store? Aside from already having been there twice today, I have to go to rehearsal.
She's like, oh my god.
I'm going to go cool off at the fish store. You going to buy more fish? I'm just going to browse, but probably definitely yes. Okay, so then they get to rehearsal. Charles is singing his patter song, and he goes into the white room. Or before that, sorry, the trio, they meet up, to discuss the suspects, and Kimber's like at the top of the list. But there's nothing really in this little scene here before everyone gets to rehearsal.
Down like that Oliver said he's in love, but yet he has not asked Loretta out, and he's just so distracted by her. So his obsession is now Loretta.
Right.
And then I also noted that the dressing room footage sounds like a lover spat. So I was like, okay, I went back to Kara's theory. I still like the cookie theory about that. That's what that lover spat was. That was about as much I got out of that.
Yeah. I did really enjoy that we got a Ethel Merman reference.
Oh my God.
With Charles.
He's like, I've been practicing my vibrato. Thank you, Miss Merman.
That made me very happy. And I guess Charles's obsession is getting his patter song right.
But then
so he's
the part where he goes,
on that.
what if we cut the patter song and I just do a look?
Yeah. Like, It's like, I don't think that would have the same effect, Charles.
It was just so good. Steve Martin's delivery of that line was just, I mean, he's just so great. He's really killing it this season with the hilarious delivery of his lines. And then we get Kimber's serum red herring. I'm like, no, that is nothing.
Okay.
We also got our first, I've got a theory. Yeah? To follow nothing relevant whatsoever to what Mabel's trying to do here. Poor Mabel.
She puts up with so much.
She wants to, play her podcast game, and the guys don't want to play, and it's sad.
No,
they're distracted.
They're quite distracted.
So, okay, all right, let's get into Charles' patter song.
I love it so much.
We get a little bit of a time check here, too. 6 weeks till opening night.
His patter song, it made me think, just like last week when they were talking about showstoppers, I was like, well, now I have to pick my favorite patter song.
Oh, there you go.
Musicals. And Charles's patter song reminded me of You Got Trouble from The Music Man. Like the same kind of cadence and tone. I was just like, this is so, and I love that song. It makes me really happy. But I would watch Steve Martin practice his patter song all day long. It was so entertaining to me.
Can I just for just a little bit gotta share this. You can't explain this. You have to watch it. So this little trot that Charles does, the little peppy step when he walks out onto the stage to do his song. Oh God. What is this?
I love his face.
To be here because
I love that he was just trying to get everybody out. Any type of excuse to get out of
Just
this.
like, go away.
Yeah.
You don't need to see this.
Yeah.
Gosh, that, You Got Trouble. 76 trombones. That one, I feel like that's a patter song too. And then, obviously, watch what happens from Newsies. Newsies just makes me so nostalgic and happy. And then the other one that I could not mention is Supercalifragilistic. I can't even do it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh yeah, that is a patter song, isn't it?
Yep.
Would you consider Greens from Into the Woods a patter song?
I think so.
I guess.
I could see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm not a musical person, so I didn't know this term. I feel like I've heard it before, but it just, it wasn't at the front of my brain or anything.
They're not as, I don't know, I feel like they're not as prevalent anymore.
No.
Maybe not.
Yeah. There have been a lot of very showstoppery
Oliver's trying to
musicals.
bring him back.
Right?
Yeah. Good job, Oliver.
So there's one other thing I gotta share. Because I don't even know how to explain this. Like, what happens to Charles? I'm concerned. Can I just say I am a little concerned?
Where did his pants go?
Where did his pants go? I am a little concerned for Charles' mental health.
His pants are like hanging.
How did that happen?
Like, Charles is
Ralph.
not well. He needs to not do this Broadway show. I'm like, Charles, babe, I know you have ambitions, and I know that you want to. Does he want to, though? I don't think he wants to. I
Clearly,
think
his mind and body are trying to tell him something.
right? Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm saying. Okay, because this is what happens.
who of the crew would commit this crime? My little frat, make it sound equals fat. It's a story, little story for a nursery rhyme. Which is a big fuck dick one day.
What the fuck? When he's like, pick, fuck, dick, wad, shit. I'm like, dude,
It's just like, what is happening?
what is happening to Charles?
That was excellent.
And then this happens. Wait, hold on. Charles,
There's his pants.
Charles is in a baby cradle. No pants. His pants are on his ankles, holding his shoe in one hand. The babies are all splayed out. Everything is like turned over. The baby, other cradles are turned over. He's holding the baby by its leg, and that look on Steve Martin's face.
And his hair has been quite tousled and messed up. And every time he comes out of the white room.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm concerned for Charles.
Just
That's all I
a
have to say.
smidge. I was just like, whoa, man.
So my most marvelous moment is right after that. This moment delivered by the way that they're all working together in this tiny little exchange. It is truly just a moment, but it is so good. And just Martin Short's delivery is like, it's just my humor. I can't, it kills me every single time.
What did I do up here? Too soon!
Not ready. But we have to find.
Too soon.
Too soon. I think that may have been the
just
moment
hit
that I
me.
laughed the loudest in that
That's what I'm
episode.
saying. That is what I'm saying. It just hit me really hard.
What did he do?
Yeah.
I had some Fight Club kind of references going in my head.
Oh,
Like that
yeah.
white room was kind of like what is that? The Mime Palace or the
Oh,
Dream
yeah.
Palace? The slide.
That's good.
with the
I can
penguins.
see that.
Because I'm like, he kind of like went into a safe place. But they said it's I don't know, Jade, is this a common thing? Have you ever heard of this before in acting?
So, yeah.
Where they have the white room.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I feel like I go to the white room every freaking time I'm on stage. Like when well, not really, but it's like different from just going up on your lines, just forgetting a line. Because when you forget a line, it is like the worst feeling in the entire world. It feels like time moves so slowly in that moment when you're trying to remember your line. It's like you think it's 5 minutes. It's literally 5 seconds. And to you, it just feels you can all of a sudden hear the sound of your heart beating, and it's beating really, really loud. And everyone is staring at you, and you're just like, all you can think of to yourself is fuck, 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 no, no. So there's that moment. But then, yeah, the White Room, I feel that that's kind of different. And certainly it's different for Charles, because the White Room, he's having a stroke. Are you having a stroke?
He's going into this weird safe place. Like he's completely like...
It reminded
I don't know.
me of, especially when I had first started out as a trial attorney, you know, your first couple of trials, it's nerve-wracking as hell. And so I would, especially for my opening statement, I would try to memorize it, and I would have, you know, it written out ahead of time, and I would practice it. And the first couple of trials I had, I feel like I just kind of went out of my body and out of my brain, and I said all the things I needed to say, and then I'd sit down and I was like, what the hell did I just do? Like, because I would get so anxious that I would space out, which was probably not good. I'm sure it did not come across the way I wanted it to. But like, you know, once you get more comfortable with it and more acclimated to the courtroom, and I would assume it's similar in a show that, you know, you want to nail it, you know, you have one shot to do it. And so your anxiety just kind of takes over and your brain retreats to a safe space.
Yeah. I feel that it's worse than just forgetting your lines. It's like being completely unsure of your body in space. And I think there's probably forgetting your lines mixed in there as well. But yeah, with Charles, it's like he has to dissociate in order to like get through it. And it's just so sad.
So much trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there was ever a time that this did really happen to me. Like if I ever white roomed it. I don't think that I have. I just think I've forgotten lines, you know, every now and again. And then there's that like heart beating, oh, fuck, shit, and then you got to come up with something. But I don't know. I mean, this is the thing, though. I feel like it's a good sign when I get off stage. That's what I mean when I say I feel like I go to the White Room every time I perform. Because when you don't know what you're doing, it means you're doing a good job. You're not supposed to be
muscle
aware.
memory is basically...
Yeah, you're supposed to lose yourself, and it's better. You don't want to be watching yourself while you're performing. That's no bueno.
Poor Charles. Too soon.
Yeah. And so here we get Howard coming in, who can't resist a Mabel sweater.
Yeah.
So this was Erica, this is your most marvelous moment, right?
Yes, this is my that whole back and forth between him and Mabel was just too much.
I think this may have been my most marvelous moment. I had a hard time
but
picking.
It was so good. But also this is where Howard, you know, right as they were waking up, or Charles was waking up,
Yes.
could I step out to call my therapist? And then it turns out
Of course you can.
his therapist.
Yeah.
He was calling his cousin from State Farm.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That keeps on coming back.
Keeps on coming back.
It keeps on coming back.
I was like, State Farm again?
I have some thoughts. I was also like, oh, but Howard, you did have a therapist, which I guess you're not seeing anymore, because remember that therapist in the building was helping him get with Jonathan. He was like encouraging him to make the move, but I guess not anymore. Okay, so here's Howard and his sweater obsession.
A sweater. You like sweaters, right?
Girl, you know I like sweaters.
It's actually one of my sweaters.
Let me guess. A fluffy number, vaguely shapeless, splashes of yellow.
I like
lines
Oliver,
that have
just
no
nodding
business working,
along.
but somehow they work. My God, do they work? Jesus H. Christ, I love your sweaters. Go on, I'm listening.
Go on, I'm listening.
Well, then you wouldn't want one stuck in the theater, would you? Think of the moths.
Oh, no, not the moths.
Fabric, chewing holes. Oh, the whole structure of the sweater just falls apart.
No, stop, Mabel, no. I'll let you in, okay? Let's get that sweater.
Get that sweater. Did anyone else think of the moths from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? So remember when Joel was like, holes in my sweater. And
Yeah.
my wife says, Ted the moth.
Ted the
Dime-size
moth.
holes. That's his signature. I was like, was it Ted the moth?
Fucking Joel. Good Lord. That was back
gosh.
when I still wanted to throat punch Joel every time he came on my screen.
Yep, was indeed. All right, so Charles, he talks to Joy, discovers his happy place, making an omelet. shocking no one.
That so much.
I know. Yeah.
Like,
And I love the throwback to the omelet just
Yes.
because that was season 1.
and he would make them for Lucy, and Lucy is his happy place, not Joy. I thought that was very
and
interesting.
Lucy is not in the season yet, which
No,
bothers
I
me.
miss her.
I know. We all miss her.
I do too.
don't think she's coming. I have a suspicion she's not.
They referenced her in the first episode, since obviously we know she was there, but I'm not gonna hold my
Yeah, I
breath.
think that Zoe Coletti, I think that she's unavailable. I'm sure she would be. She's got to be busy. She's so talented. But yeah, my favorite Joy moment, I think, was when she was saying, take that stress and channel it into one of your gorgeous omelets. That's your happy place. And the way you make them looks like they should be on the cover of Breakfast magazine, which does not exist. Really cracked me up.
Love that. And she's like, I'm the omelet. I was like, no, you're not. Calm down. It's like, I don't like this.
I know, right? And I do really love, though, that Charles is clearly a little bit of a freak. He likes himself a freak. I'm like, hey, Charles, get it.
Yep.
I am
When she
very
started
happy.
making the animal noises, he almost like started walking towards her in a trance
okay.
state.
Thank you. Yes, he like follows her lustfully, like practically salivating.
My goodness.
I'm like, yeah, Charles has that's like his drug.
He has a
is
type.
these- yeah, these like mentally unhinged
does.
women. I mean, hey, do you, boo? I support it.
Oh, Charles.
And this is the thing. I really do love that Joy is so supportive of him. And she's like, you know, encouraging him. You can do anything. You can do hard things like that. You know, don't focus on the negative. You can do it, baby. But
Yeah.
it's like Joy is only really going to be happy if he's dependent on her. Like she doesn't want him to be dependent on the omelet, on anything else but her. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's finally got him.
Yeah. She definitely,
Wanting him for so
the
long.
whole time, I was just like, yeah, she is way more into him than he is her.
Yeah, the little nugget that we get of plot, you know, moving forward, kind of, is with Joy saying, "I'm going to look out for you, Charlie, just like I did with Ben Glenroy." And he knew if he touched one hair on your gorgeous little head that he would have to deal with me. And it's like, I do not think Joy is the murderer.
No. But
No.
I think they wanted us to
But-
think that for a little while. Or maybe they still do, I guess, the way the episode ended. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's Joy. No.
Well, this is what I'm
No,
wondering.
I don't think so either.
Are we just like really ahead of the show, or are we exactly thinking what the show wants us to think? That's what I'm wondering, because
That's the whole problem with mysteries.
right with
It's like-
mysteries, right?
It's like, how good of writers are they to where they would
Right.
anticipate we would all be seeing this as red herrings and that it would obviously not be her. So,
But this episode was so full of red herrings, or felt like there's too many
Yes.
things that it almost feels intentional.
I would
I
still
think it is.
put money on Joy was not involved in any way, shape, or form with Ben's death. Either
No.
of his apparent deaths.
So okay, so let's get to this. You know, Joy's kind of involvement here at the theater. So Kimber is running her beauty empire out of her dressing room. Okay.
Of course she is.
And Ben said that he'd help her promote her serum, and then he backed out. And she mentions this red mark, and then they go into Ben's dressing room and they see "you pig" written with lipstick. So what did we think here?
Fascinating. I thought Joy fixed his red mark because obviously she's the makeup artist and either took out her lipstick, put it on, left it there, or it fell out or something. And the very first thing I thought of was that Ben got frustrated at himself for inhaling these cookies
Right.
and wrote "fucking pig" about himself on his mirror. And I was like,
I like that.
it's like either that or somebody else came in, caught him inhaling these cookies and wrote it. But I could see Ben, being crazy and being like, "fucking pig." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I could see him be a little bit more self-deprecating than
Yeah.
the other way around, because it doesn't seem like he had the relationship with anybody else.
Unless he was
Where it would have been that.
walking around calling himself, or somebody walked in on him berating himself, calling himself a fucking pig or something, and we haven't seen that yet. But I don't know. I feel like
I highly doubt that anyone else would care so much, about Ben.
About him eating
That's the
cookies.
thing.
Yeah.
Or if because like my brain went there so fast, I was like, well, that can't be it. Like, what? There's got to be another explanation.
If Ben is mentally unhinged enough to talk to cookies, because that's totally what he's doing. I'm sorry. I know that there's a lot of theories like, no, it's too obvious that he's talking to cookies. I'm like, no. I don't. I think that we've all just figured it out. And now it's like, now it feels too obvious because it's on all the message boards. It's on all the Reddits. It's what everyone is saying in all their reviews. Like, it's definitely cookies. And then people are like overthinking it to the point where they're like, right. Like, no, it's cookies. I'm sure he's talking to cookies. Ben seems, from what we get of Ben, and I don't think that we're ever getting the full picture of who Ben really is, but from the picture, the weird person that Ben has been painted before us, I think he is talking to, he's the kind of guy who would talk to cookies like this, and he's the kind of guy who would hate himself after consuming said cookies and then write on the mirror, "You pig." Because I remember in like my preteen, very unhinged years of my life, seeing it in, teen movies and stuff, like writing hateful messages to yourself on your mirror with lipstick. And like, I totally did it just to be a drama queen. So it seems like something Ben would do,
Yeah.
Just he's a drama queen.
It would make sense. And out of like, obviously, if he's raging and angry that he just ate all these cookies, the lipstick being there would make sense for him just to like look for whatever he could find and get it out. It's just like, okay, I could see that.
And also the little pig was really cute.
Yeah.
It had a smiley
You
face.
would say that, Erica.
I did. I noticed it. I'm like, that didn't, because it didn't look like.
That's what made me think
like,
it could have been a taunting thing. Though. Yeah. Because I don't know. I do think it is related to him eating those cookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about Kimber? Let's talk a little bit about Kimber.
Oh, Kimber.
I don't know. I just don't like her. But it's like she's playing it really well. She's that type of personality. Completely self-absorbed, reveals that, she was interested in Ben only to get him to, help promote her serum. What was it made out of? Petroleum jelly?
Vaseline mixed with club soda.
Vaseline. Something.
I'm like, ew, Vaseline and club soda. That's going to fuck up your skin so bad.
I know. You'll get like, clogged pores. And then, oh God. I mean, I don't know. I think the thing about her is that, like, why did Howard is real? I'm just going back to Howard really quick. Like, why does Howard have so much power? He's just the assistant, and that nobody was able to go back to the theater. I'm like, why does he have so much power? And she's like, don't tell Howard I copied his key. So
Howard is on my top of the suspect list for whoever brought those cookies into the dressing room. And I'll get to that on my theory and everything. But yeah, I loved that it's a layered relationship. Did I hear you talking about a relationship with layers? I assume you're talking about me. Like Howard. He loves it. He loves waging his power, like holding it over Oliver's head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just... Like, why is he the one? He's not the stage manager. He's just the assistant to the director.
True.
Like, why did, who's it? KT is the stage manager.
Right. So those are my two top people that I'm thinking could be responsible for leaving those cookies in the dressing room because they have access to every area at the theater. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Howard, he is kind of Oliver's keeper. Because Oliver is not the most together human being. He's not the most, he needs someone to kind of like a personal assistant. He's what he is. Mm-hmm. He is his assistant. So I think that when you have to do like the dirty work of like literally cleaning up after someone, kind of like Poppy did with Cinda Canning, when you can assert your authority over that person and be like, well, you're not going anywhere unless I give you the key, like, I don't know, maybe Howard is just...
He's on a little power trip.
It's fine. He's like, let me have my one thing.
Yeah, that is true. I was really gagging when she gave Mabel that bowl of dog food or whatever it was. I'm like, what?
And it prevents heartworms. I was like, nope.
Yeah,
it's made with barley, chia seeds, and essence of sod. Like, ew. This was the second cracked out storyline. I'm like, what is happening here? Kimber has this beauty empire, right? Like that's not doing very well because she can't sell her serum. She's running it out of her dressing room, though. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, what?
She just
just
needs
so
that
batshit.
one thing to go viral. She's like trying
Yeah.
absolutely everything, which obviously then if she was probably still holding out some hope that she would be able to get Ben to, hawk her serum, there's no way she killed him.
Well, so this is what the messy. I'm sorry, I made everything so messy between us. This is possibly what he was talking about here, backing out of helping her to, sell her beauty stuff and to be the unofficial spokesperson. He never read that copy and made the TikTok for her, like the little commercial. So we don't know why he backed out. I can only suspect it's because Kimber's just not that nice of a person. I don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think it really matters. I think that this is, again, is a red herring. Kimber is, and I feel like this episode did a weird thing with kind of crossing Kimber off of the suspect list, but we still don't know why she is doing any of the things she's doing. So like she says she felt numb after Ben's death. Like, why would she say that? That's an odd thing to say.
And selling his, I did enjoy that. Like selling his handkerchief that he gave everyone on
Oh my God, you
eBay.
called it, Kara.
Yeah.
I was very
That made
proud
me
of you.
really happy. I was just like,
I was like, Kara,
thing.
yes, that's exactly what you predicted. Did she sell it? And I was thinking to myself, no, that can't be it. And then, yep, sure as shit. Or, I mean, that's
it's her
considering.
personality type.
Well, but you always have to consider in mysteries, that's like.
That's what she says she did.
Yeah, it's like everyone could be lying. So when you take everyone at their word, you go into danger territory because then you're falling into the trap of exactly what the writers want you to think. Okay, so look at this moment. Look at this moment with Kimber, because I don't know if it's Ashley Park's acting choice, because the camera doesn't zoom in on it. They don't comment on it with the cinematography at all, but it is there, and it is. I said it at our recap of the first 2 episodes that why did she look so scared of Ben? It just seems odd, and I can't tell if there's some significance to it. So tell me what you think.
Kimber, I'm so sorry I made everything messy between us. I fucked up, but I'm gonna make it right.
Okay.
Ty,
Wait.
forgive me, please, for
Wait for it.
getting so mad at you for wanting to use my trainer. It's just, Hutch is my secret
See?
weapon. And,
What was that flinch about?
I think she's just so spooked that she thought he was dead and he's not.
Right. I think that might have been just, she looked really like, why would you, it wasn't even like he lunged or like he did anything extreme in that moment, but Ashley Park did this she, and as an actor myself, I pick up on those things. I'm always looking at those little small choices that the actor makes. I think that there's something that she is aware of about her character that hasn't been revealed yet, because clearly there's, like I said, there's unanswered questions with Kimber to do with Ben. We don't know why she is saying she felt numb, why she is so adamant about Ben, like she wanted to sell her handkerchief, she had no problem like spiting him, it seems. Like to get rid of. She
said numb and not dumb after he died?
She said she's just feeling so numb.
I think she did I think you're right. But also, you remember when Mabel asked her if they were sleeping together, and her face, like how like seriously, like almost, I don't know, like the way Ashley Park's facial features changed when she said that, like her eyes like lowered and she just got like, you assumed that I was just sleeping with him like everybody. So I think you're right. There's something more to this. I think this is too kind of like wrapped up in a little neat little bow, like, oh, she was just selling this thing and she just wanted him to help her with her product.
Right. There's also one other thing that I wanted to share with you guys, because I don't know if anyone's going to pick up on it. After, in episode 3, when Oliver says to everyone, now we're doing, Death Rattle's a musical. And because everyone's like applauding at rehearsal. They're like, yeah, let's do this show. Let's get it back together. Even, let's do it for Ben. And he goes, it's now a musical. And he pulls the sheet down and it's like Death Rattle Dazzle. And the camera zooms in on Kimber's face, and her face just going like falling, like going to like, no, like an expression. And she is very adamant about not wanting to do a musical, which is odd to me since she's such an amazing singer. So watch this moment. And I don't know if a lot of people, if you're listening to the podcast, you won't be able to hear it, but if you're watching the video, you can see the camera zooms in on a tight close-up of just her face. And I'm like, I didn't pick up on it until I rewatched it after having seen episode 4. So tell me if this is anything.
Yeah.
And turn it into a musical.
What is that? Only her.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know, when I watched it, I remember seeing like that face, and I was just like, I just thought she was so judgmental and thinking about how ridiculous it was that he wanted to turn it into a musical, or that he wanted it to keep going.
I do think that we're given all these questions about Kimber to consider as like, think about this, distract, look over here. Meanwhile, the trick is happening way over here, which is why I think it's none of these people that we are given in this episode. This is a very middle of the season episode, you know?
There's a lot of people not in this episode.
A lot of famous people not in this episode.
Well, because this whole episode was for red herrings and filler, and I'm sure there were a couple of things that were dropped that are important. But for the most part, this is one of those middle of the season episodes that just...
You know what this episode did was it was a good breather episode of just, well, it was just batshit insane. I keep saying it. This is the batshit episode that has just lost its fucking marbles. But it gave me a lot of time to reflect on things that have happened before. And with this one, more than any other episode, I found myself needing to go back and rewatch certain moments or whole episodes to be like, wait. And then, of course, by this point, we've had so many theories come forward. So many people have got strong opinions in Reddit, subreddit, whatever. And
I have not gone down that rabbit hole yet.
Me neither.
I haven't either because I can only deal with so much, and like Facebook and YouTube are keeping me well occupied. So I'm also trying to make sure that I take all my notes before I go looking into what other people think, because I want to know that like this is what I think. These are my thoughts. And then, okay, now other people are making me consider other things. But yeah, this episode was like a reflection episode for sure. And just hilarious and crazy and nonsensical.
I did love what Mabel's reaction when, you know, they're talking out in the hallway and whispering, and Kimber comes out of her dressing room and goes, "Is everything okay out here?" I was just like, oh, Selena Gomez. That was so funny and cringy.
It was really funny when they told Mabel that you don't count. You have old lady energy. 72 is where I'd put you. I'm like, so true.
Oh, so funny.
Then it takes one to know one because I've got old lady energy too. We all do.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have all these questions to consider with Kimber. We don't know the answers to any of them, but we're pretty sure it's red herrings anyway. So moving on. So Mabel has been getting mysterious texts, and it turns out to be Cinda. So she goes on to see Cinda and she offers her a partnership, and Mabel turns it down.
I'm glad she did.
Why?
Because I don't trust Cinda.
No.
Cinda's not there for her reasons for a podcast are purely just for her own financial and gain and her own success, where Mabel really has a heart into it. Like she would be the good detective. Like maybe, hopefully at the end, maybe that's something she'll go, yeah, like she wants to solve the murder where like Cinda is just looking for notoriety and
true.
You know,
that is true.
Buzz. I did wonder if Mabel would ultimately be tempted because of the money, because it makes it seem like, you know, she might be kind of having a rough spot financially, trying to afford a new apartment. And
well,
like,
okay,
don't do it.
Can we make some sense out of this? So help me make it make sense. I guess Mabel's just rich. Her aunt has clearly got money. I didn't ever get the impression though that Mabel came from money when we like saw her mother and everything. She just seemed very like middle class, average, you know, not like a ton of money, not like poor, but not a ton of money. She's looking at $4,800 a month apartments. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Why? How? Because does Mabel have a job?
I couldn't afford that.
That's a lot.
Yeah. What does Mabel do?
Well,
What does she do? Where's this money coming from?
And that's
It's not for podcasting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I also was just, it just seems so odd because we know everyone involved in that show is familiar with what it costs to live in New York and all of that. So I was like, is this just
And if you're not
another
familiar, I'll tell you
show?
from myself, it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Is this just another show that doesn't understand? Or were we supposed to see that this is the only thing that's available to her and she's freaking out because it's so much money? That's why with $4,800, I was like, there's no way. So that's why I wondered if it was intentional that this Cinda offer came at the end of an episode where we're seing her kind of balk at how much it's going to cost to get this apartment.
She's balking. There's balking going on.
But I never thought she was, well off. Not Arconia well off.
Right. So it was funny though when Cinda's offering her, structure and a paycheck. What if I add a zero? Another. She's like, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah,
That was
not
crazy.
that last one.
Yeah.
But I could see why Cinda would be drawn to Mabel and want to partner with her, especially after that whole Bloody Mabel thing went viral. So not only her podcasting skills, but then she has some, notoriety.
Some celebrity, yeah.
to her
And
name.
Cinda's not wrong when she says you better, if you want to capitalize on that shit, you better get on it before your yesterday's news.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that it's not she's kind of already yesterday's news. Like you're only viral for like a day, maybe half a day before the next viral thing comes along. But yeah, I was thinking, Erica, about what you just said. Cinda's kind of bad, selfish podcasting lady because she does have that line. It's amazing the amount of horse shit you can feed the American public when you say it's organic.
Yeah.
She's not trying to help
She's
anybody.
not wrong either.
No. I was getting a lot of Kardashian and what's her name? Gwyneth Paltrow Goop
Good
vibes,
Lord.
especially when she said she had the
Yes.
jade egg in her private.
Yes,
What was it?
That made me laugh really hard. I have a jade egg that is currently nestled in my privates.
Oh my goodness.
Because jade is the stone of fertility. I know that, obviously, because it's my name.
That's funny.
Which I find very funny because I cannot have children. So there's that. So jades are not always fertile.
She's like, that's fun, universe.
Yeah, right. Not that I want children anyway, so it's perfect to happen to me. If anyone had to get like my particular, genetic whatever predisposition, to not, hey, I don't mind. I like other people's kids. I do not want to have kids.
Yeah. Team no babies over here.
Team no babies, yeah.
I want everybody else to have all the babies.
All the babies, I know. All right, so then Oliver and Charles go to this second rehearsal. Charles, again, goes to the White Room.
Tom is a Christian, Charles.
Tom, find a priest, pray it out, take the day.
One thing I just want to point out about Ralph. Was it Ralph and Tom's cats having a play date?
Okay, yes.
I squealed.
So cute.
Settle hit it off with Chopin. It was a little awkward at first. It's hard to oversell how disinterested I am in this story. Oliver was like savage this episode.
yeah.
He was such
he was.
a poop. He had such a stick up his arse. It's like, Jesus, Oliver. Take a chill.
Unless it was about Loretta.
Right.
He was missing her, clearly.
He was missing her. I wonder where she was.
Oh.
She was not in. I missed her this episode.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about this episode. We had a lack of famous people, for sure.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, not like there's obviously a bunch of famous people, but we didn't see any Loretta and
Any of our
we didn't
new
see
famous people.
No Taubert.
no Taubert, no Paul Rudd.
I was very sad that we did not get any Taubert.
Getting very little Taubert so far. Suspish? I think so.
Yeah, it could be.
Another little thing I wanted to just mention about Ralph is that after he was in the right before he was going to White Room, and here comes Charles, using his omelet to help prepare him and get through the song. Did he say, sorry, were you whisking?
Yeah.
But he was saying, emphasizing the H.
Whisking. It's like that Family Guy. Cool.
Whisking, like Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
Oh, the physical comedy in these scenes.
The physical comedy that
I said, like, this episode was like filler, but it was like so much good
It was
stuff.
fun.
In it
yeah.
that it's so
yeah.
That's the thing. There are no bad episodes of Only Murder in the Building. So every time I really enjoy it.
Can we just look at this really quickly? Hold on, let me just share this. Steve Martin killing it with the physical comedy.
Which of the Pickwick triplets did it? Who of the crew would
This
commit
part.
this crime? My little brat making
Wait.
mommy go splat. It's a story pretty gory for a nursery.
He takes out the bowl,
Which of the Pickwick-
starts whisking.
Sorry. What the hell is happening with your hands?
I'm just keeping the beat. It's a little choreo that I came up with. I
Choreo.
think it adds a little zazz, don't you?
Oh.
Sorry, were you whisking?
Whisking.
It's just the concept.
The constable coming through me. Can we also? Yeah,
love it.
Why label it? Why is he called the constable? Why don't they call him a policeman? Is this set in England? What is happening here?
Wasn't it? I thought it was in. Wait, it wasn't in Canada, was it?
That's
Oh, right.
what
No, they said Nova Scotia.
She's
Nova Scotia.
it's a Nova Scotian play, and she makes a reference to being French Canadian. She is in Loretta.
So they call
beginning.
policemen constables in Nova Scotia.
I don't
Maybe.
know if that's
Maybe.
true. It could
Learn
be
something new every
no
day.
idea.
because Paul Rudd's character was called the investigator at the time.
Right.
So I don't know. Now I'm gonna look it up.
So then
Constable.
when Charles goes into the White Room for the second, I mean, these White Room moments are hilarious. Like the first time when he just is painting the walls with that roller, like what? Why? And then the second one, he walks in like he just won the lottery or something, and he's like admiring these blank white frames. But he
And then
walks
there
in
was-
so excited about nothing. He's like,
But was
"Yeah."
that the White Room that had the weird beigey tannish colored Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, and that was because it
That
was in
was-
the fish tank.
yeah,
At the very beginning, it was one of those
I
little
liked that.
props in the fish tank. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that was in the credits too. And I know those things sometimes are clues in the credits.
Yes, it looks like a lot of like the lowest level of law enforcement is constables, and they're just called constables, like we would say officer. If somebody
The more you know.
lives in Nova Scotia or up in that area, let us know if we're wrong, but that's what it looks like from Google.
Neat.
It's interesting.
So after Charles goes into the White Room for the second time, Oliver is like, into my office. Also, Oliver has two really great anecdotes, which I love to keep track of when, just stories from Oliver's personal life. He's like, story for another time. That's
Yep.
another day. But I did talk Idina Menzel off a literal ledge once.
I love that.
And then the other one was, it smells like Jerry Orbach's laundry basket in here, which I did take a nap in once. Like, what?
It's like, okay, Oliver.
So random and great. So they have this little heart-to-heart, and Oliver tells Charles, maybe you don't need to change. Maybe you are who you are, and that's enough. But Charles wants to be that guy. He wants to be that guy who can check up with the lady and all her million fish.
62 fish really is a lot of fish.
And yeah,
A lot of fish.
I have to question the size of that tank.
right?
I know.
I was like, that seems too small. Entirely too small for that many fish.
And if we're to believe that what she says, it's up to 63 at least now, because remember she went back to the fish store. She's like, I'll probably definitely come back with another one though. And then she's sending him pictures of piranha, and he's like,
Oh, my
God.
gosh.
Then she'll have less fish then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Sure.
Poor
That was
fish.
a good one. So yeah, this little scene was just cute though between
It
the
was
two of
sweet.
them.
And Oliver
Yeah.
finally asking Loretta out on a date.
With a very simple dinner.
Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Maybe it's what we all should be doing right now. Nope, not gonna do it.
And like Charles's anxiety, I do like how the end, I feel like it's so clear that it was about joy and not about his patter song or stress from the show. Maybe that compounded it, but I think he just feels suffocated.
Yeah.
I would venture to say it might be both, though, because Charles said, even before Joy has become a thing of issue, he said to Joy, is it wrong that I'm kind of relieved? Like, 8 shows a week, my nerves can't take it. And then you're
Yeah.
making him sing, which is
I don't
another
think
thing
it
I want to...
helped that he was doing the show at the same
Right.
time.
Has anyone else thought of also just the unreality of the fact that, okay, now we're turning our show. I mean, okay, shows on Broadway don't go from non-musicals to musicals overnight.
What?
People
That
don't write
doesn't
musicals.
happen?
Yeah, because it's like assuming that all of these actors are just going to be great singers as well. Like there would need to be some recasting done here. I don't know. It's silly. It's silly. I love it though.
Yeah, but we
None of this
know
would actually
Charles
happen.
can sing, hence my background.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be too.
He can.
Oh, yeah,
can?
you're right.
Yeah.
Steve Martin and oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. I saw them live and now I can't remember.
Oh, with the bluegrass.
Steve Canyon Rangers. That's what he sings with them, and it's excellent. Like it is really good, solid bluegrass music. So the fact that Steve Martin, every time we hear him, is just so terrible when he's trying to sing, I'm just like, oh, Steve, you're brilliant.
Such a good actor.
Usual.
Yeah, that is really funny, though, that they gave him, he said they usually give it to the guy who can't sing. And it's like, oh, but I thought
He's one of the
an
most
album.
musical ones there.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it is odd. Inconsistent writing. No. It's a plot hole. It's a plot. No. So then Charles tries to break up with Joy.
Oh,
And then he
Poor
goes to the
guy.
White Room again and he proposes. Well, maybe he proposes. Does he
It
propose?
seemed like-
What do we think?
I think he proposed. It seemed very clear that he had proposed to her. And felt horrible for him.
yeah. I was confused where he got the ring.
That's what I'm saying.
Her tank, maybe? The fish tank?
I don't think that's a fish tank thing.
Yeah, I know, but like, where did that ring come from? That ring confused me.
I don't. So this is my right. So it confused me too. And I think that what it's saying here is the first thing that I thought when Charles went into the White Room was he did not propose. She is she's taking the opportunity of his white roomness because he's confided in her of what's happening with him and she knows what's going on. So she's thinking, oh, now's my chance. He's going to wake up all of a sudden. He's going to come to and be like, where did I go? What did I say? I think that she's totally lying because of the way that last frame is zooming in real close to her super sketchy, creepy face, holding up that ring. It's like, where did that ring come from? She's been planning this.
Yeah.
Joy is unhinged. Don't think she's the murderer, but she's a little unhinged.
Interesting.
Nefarious. And then we find out that her lipstick, the lipstick that was in Ben's dressing room, is Joy's lipstick. Okay, so let's get into let's get it. I just can't wait any longer. Let's get into our theories, guys. I'm chomping at the proverbial bit over here.
I wrote a lot.
Good.
I rewatched, kind of like you were saying, Jade, episodes 1 through 3 again to see and try to catch things. So, can I tell you who's on my thing right now? Are we doing
Yes,
that?
and the murderer is... Carrie, you go first.
I am now officially on board with what you said before, that Loretta is one of the killers.
One of.
I think this is going to take... Okay. I think Loretta is the one who shoved Ben down the elevator shaft. And I think she was doing it either in defense of Dickie or protecting him some way. Because, hear me out. I think Loretta might be Dickie's mom. So, I know it sounds insane. But rewatching the episodes, and I rewatched the trailer, and I watched the trailer, then I watched the first episode, and you know how we see Oliver pull out that kind of creepy notebook that has photos and articles with Ben? It is 100% the same bookshelf from Loretta's apartment in the first episode. So I was like, okay, so that seems pretty clear. And we talked about it last time, how I think they want us to go down the line of thinking she's obsessed with Ben, but Dickie is in the background of that photo. So I was like, I think they're intentionally trying to throw us off and make us think that she had some sort of obsession with Ben or whatever. But I think it was actually Dickie that she was keeping track of. So part of that is, I feel like this motherhood motif and theme keeps coming up throughout this season, where it hasn't in the past couple of seasons. There's been a lot about, father-son relationships with Charles and his dad and, Teddy and Theo. And in this one, we've had, mention of Mabel really gave us more insight into her relationship with her mother. This time around, it's usually been more focused on her father. We have Cliff and Donna and their weird mother-son relationship.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's that story that Taubert tells about the elephant and the mother trying to
My God, you're
save
so
the baby elephant.
right. Good, yeah.
And and in addition, I went back and, watching the first episode again and listening to the monologue that Meryl Streep's character gives at the beginning. And you pointed it out, Jade, that she says the exact line. She says, "Would I kill to protect a child in my charge? That is the question you have for me, I assume, detective. To that I would say, without so much as blinking, I would kill without compunction for the sake and safety of any child in my care. So now you have your answer." And she's turned and looking to Oliver. And at that point, Charles's voiceover comes in. But the way that she is talking about that, and
it's like hiding. It's like hiding in plain sight.
Yes,
it's like I think that's how this is going to go. Right? It was right there all along. It was the first thing we get out of the gate. Is her basically looking into the camera and delivering, "This is exactly what I'm about to do, y'all."
So now you have your answer. And I was just like, that is very interesting to me. And we see how much of a dick Ben is to Dickie. And there are a few episodes, if you go
Dick to Dickie
moments when you look back, the way she looks at Dickie, like it feels at first I thought it was maybe some weird kind of romantic or infatuation thing or just like almost starstruck. But now I think it's because it's her child. And I think
Did you notice when she was singing and Oliver was falling in love with her and everyone's crying and everything? There was Dickie behind Oliver. I did rewatch that.
Yes.
And Dickie is looking at her in this kind of lustful way, but I don't think it's that. I think it's like, that's my mom. Or that, I totally agree.
And I totally think in that moment she is singing towards him, like she is communicating to him. And I was just like, holy shit, that, like, I don't know, but I could totally see it. And if Dickie is fed up with Ben, I could see Loretta protecting Dickie by killing Ben. And there are a couple other...
This is the protection thing. Okay, this is starting to scare me a little bit because you and I are very much on the same wavelength here. Like, you're almost like going through my exact theory as well as far as Loretta is concerned. Because
funny.
I've been on the Loretta...
Yes.
Can I just say, my first choice, I think it's the right choice. I'm not... I think I got it.
I do think...
But it's becoming more clear why I think...
Right.
Yes.
Because at first I was just like, it's kind of a gut thing. Like, I know that it's Meryl Streep. I don't know. We don't have all the pieces yet. But it's kind of scaring me, the fact that we both have the same answer. And a lot of people, I think, are leaning toward this answer. I'm like, so is this exactly what they want us to be thinking? Like,
That's
and I think that's the only reason I've been worried. Well, worried. I'm not worried. But like,
I'm worried.
I'm so scared I'm going to get it wrong. No, because I've heard that. And even like some of her facial expressions and the way she reacts were very, like, I felt they were intentional. They weren't like trying to kind of sway us, but I was worried that it was like too in our face. Like, why would you put that right in front of us? All right, help me out. I have never seen or read or watched anything with Richard III. Dickie is a short for Richard. And I know that there was a poster for Richard, and they've been also throwing a lot of Shakespeare this season as well.
They have.
Is there any theme from Richard III that might kind of carry over in here? Because I know we've had some Hamlet.
There was
Cliff and Donna.
There was a quote. Was it last season where they did the play on, a horse, my kingdom for a horse.
My kingdom for a horse. Yeah. There is the talk of in Richard III about how he was born. Like he came out of his mother's womb like with teeth, and he's like he was born this like monster, Yeah.
I think
I'm trying to think now. You might be onto something, Erica.
You think of that, like
I don't know,
but I think that
Dickie is just such a weird name. Like
a lot of weird names.
Dick is such a old-fashioned name, and Dickie is even worse.
I think a twist. I think it'll be a twist where they are setting us up to think that Loretta, like Dickie tried to kill Ben and Loretta ends up, pushing him down the elevator shaft, whether there's a physical altercation, like Dickie followed him up there or something, and maybe Ben found out that Loretta was Dickie's mother, because he did call her a snake and was really intense with her in that, after party scene. And then I started thinking, I was like, okay, if he had a red mark on him that Joy had to fix, how did that get there? Did he and Loretta get into some sort of physical altercation? And then it made me think maybe you're right again, Jade, about her that Charles was talking about being Loretta. Possibly, because, they're all on stage together. Like, they would all have been backstage at the same time. Charles could have seen something. But I think that kind of visceral reaction from Ben could be explained by something so personal like this. If he found out and thought it was somehow going to, I don't know, mess with him having an assistant. Like maybe she was coming in and interfering with their relationship. I don't know. But
well, and there's when we talk about that her thing, who is her, I tried to really reflect on all of my questions and all my theories and look at them from the opposite. So like, what if everyone is not actually telling the truth? What if what they're saying is a lie?
Yeah.
Or what if it's instead of Charles warning Ben because he's saying, Ben, you've done something wrong, what if he's more protecting Ben and the her is someone dangerous? What if the her
I like that
is like,
too.
because he does say stay away from her, be smart.
Yeah.
And I've kind of wanted to say this before, and I just never thought to write it down or say it. I don't know why, but ever since the very first, like the trailer, I think I thought to myself, why doesn't Charles share this information about this little exchange with Ben on stage? Why doesn't he share that with Oliver and Mabel? What is this?
Make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
I know.
It's very annoying.
That's okay. So you said that he could be warning him as opposed to
maybe.
I like that.
I could see that, because that reminds me, there's another part of the monologue that she reads for Oliver that stuck out. And she says, a child needs to feel safe at all times. They need to feel protected by the ferocity only a mother can summon. And I was just like, she would totally kill for her child. And we know that she had this huge dream. And Charles's voiceover kind of said, when you do finally land your dream, your moment in that spotlight, how far would you go to hang on to it? And I was like, so how far would Loretta go to fulfill this dream? If she got pregnant as, a teenager or even someone in her young 20s, I could see her being forced to give that baby up, whether it's because of her parents, whether it's because of her dream. And I may have gone too far down assuming and jumping to things.
Impossible at this juncture.
But I think it would fit her character, like how ambitious she is. And then
she gets a limp.
That's the thing. And like, why? I don't know. How often did she audition for things? Did she know that Ben was involved in this play and that's why she auditioned? Like,
well, she comes in to that first audition and says she's not on the list. She crashed the audition. She's like, I thought my manager said that, or my agent said I was on the list. I swear. It's like, no. She came there without having an appointment. So there's a reason that she's trying to make her way into this play. That's for darn sure. So, Erica, what did you write down on your...
I forgot to read the second half of my thing. I got so excited.
Tara, come on,
I'm sorry.
Go.
Sorry. I think it would be too predictable if, let's say, she ended up being Dickie's mother and Dickie tried to kill Ben with the cookies and then she actually, killed Ben protecting. I think that would be too obvious. So I think she thinks that Dickie tried to kill Ben with the cookies or something like that. But that's not true. And that if we do not hear more from Bobo and about how he didn't have his handkerchief in like the next episode or the one after that, then I think it was somebody inconsequential that tried to poison Ben.
Agreed.
And then she kills.
I'll tell you who I think. I have a theory
like
for
the
that.
Baby elephant. Anyway.
Like the baby yeah. No, and I keep going back to that too because I think that is going to come as a parallel later. Like that baby elephant story was not there for no reason. Who is the baby elephant? Who is,
other than to like make us fall in love with Robert with a T and then rip it all away.
Yeah. I
Come
mean,
on.
he was my first choice, like in the beginning, and I still feel like he is more. Talbert has more involvement that we
something.
know. There is
Yeah,
something,
there is
and
something.
maybe he witnessed whoever
Yes.
killed him, and he didn't go to
Yes.
help him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
maybe there's
Yep.
multiple people involved, maybe not necessarily multiple murderers, but people who are going to be not only involved but also what's the technical word, Kara?
Like accomplices or
Yes,
Yeah.
to it.
Accomplices.
We did see the sign that said for the cast party we killed him.
We
It's
killed
like
him.
what if it was like a collective
We
effort?
killed him. Yeah, like
Yes. Yes.
they all like maybe they took Kimber's nasty serum and used that to poison the cookies.
I don't know how much. What does ingesting Vaseline do to one's?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Erica. So so was that your guess was Talbert?
All right. I listened to you guys last week. I really definitely think it's multiple murderers. I think you guys are completely.
Yes.
I absolutely see how Loretta can be it, and I don't think it's not her at all. I think it could be her definitely. But when Kara brought up like this, like there's Bobo has no like character development at all. Talbert has only been in it so much. I feel like they play a very important part. So I left Talbert on there as just like, you know what? Not so much. I just want to know what his involvement is in it. So I'm still kind of stuck. Like the other part was, and I know you guys had a big discussion about last week, was Donna and Cliff. I feel like Donna also has some involvement in as well. Not so much Cliff.
She's icky.
Yeah, like there's something going on in there. Again, another mother who would maybe she would kill to protect her child's, I don't know, first dream.
Yeah, I had a thought about that. The only thing that really makes sense for Donna to be the murderer is if she knew that the play was going to get a pan. That because that review had been written before opening night, right?
Yeah.
They come critic screenings before opening night and they write their reviews. So if she somehow knew that the show was going to get, eviscerated in the press, that she would want to save her son's reputation by getting Ben out of there so that there's no star, there's no play.
Yeah.
Right on.
Man.
Okay, so I got to jump in here with mine because
Yes.
exactly what you're saying about the multiple murder thing. This is season 3. John Hoffman has said in interviews that there's going to be a theme of 3 in this season.
3 triplets.
He said, yes, there's triplets. And also, let's think about this. The first season was it was a lot to do with isolation and everyone we kind of got to know all the characters on their own. And we saw all of them in their own worlds, and then their worlds kind of united and they came together and they found a common, ground in unexpected places, So there was this isolation theme of singularity and just being on your own. And then there was only one murderer, Jan. That's it. There was one person. Season 2, there was a theme of pairs. And John Hoffman has interviews where he said everyone in season 2 had like a counterpart. So Mabel
like
had
a
Alice.
foil.
Yeah. Charles had
Lucy?
Not Zoe. Lucy, thank you. And Oliver had his son Will, and that they had their big relationships they were dealing with. And then there were 2 murderers. There was Poppy and Detective Krebs. So season 3, guys, there's going to be 3 murderers. They're going to do an Agatha Christie. I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a very, very famous Agatha Christie book that has recently been made into a film where there's multiple murderers. They're going to do one of those. And I think that one person is going to be really at the helm, I think, but I haven't figured it out yet. I think that person is Loretta. She's at the center of the whole thing. So my theory so what I have written on my paper here
I love it. It's
I have Howard, Loretta / Dickie. Exactly, basically just dovetailing off of what you said.
I was like,
about the
that's what
Loretta
I
and
said in the
Dickie.
first episode.
Yeah, right. So I think
could still
Howard
see
is
it.
completely behind the cookie thing. And I think it's because
Oh,
Jonathan.
Howie.
So there's a lot to do with Howard, right? Jonathan is the understudy. And Howard continually says what about Moses Morris? What if we got funding out? We don't even need Cliff and Donna. Let's get, why does he want to push Moses Morris so hard and get Cliff and Donna out of the picture and not use their funding? I think it's because Cliff and Donna would probably say, okay, well, no more Ben. We need to find another star to headline this shit. We can't just, this is not how it works. Like, we don't know if Jonathan has the role of Ben's detective part or inspector. We don't know who is playing that role. Clearly, Jonathan is still in the show, but we have not been told what his role is. So the way that it works in the real world is a Broadway show cannot happen unless you have at least one really big star. So they would never make Jonathan. I mean, if this show makes Jonathan, if that's just a bridge too far. I'm sorry. Can we just be a little more realistic?
Consistent with Oliver's terrible ass judgment. Like, that would be the only way I could.
But even if Oliver had the judgment to make him the inspector, you still need funding. You still need someone to back that choice up. So if we didn't have Cliff and Donna, if we didn't need them, then we have Moses Morris to fund this shit. Then you can have whoever you want to be the lead. And so I think in Howard's little funny mind, he's thinking, okay, do away with Ben. He didn't want to kill him. He just wanted to poison him, whatever, get him sick so that he couldn't continue the show. So he put those cookies in the dressing room. You know, he poisons him, whatever. And then Jonathan gets the part, or at least Jonathan would get to go on that night.
Yeah.
But he didn't think that maybe he went too far with the poison. Maybe Howard's not the brightest bulb. He, overdid it a little. And so he drops dead. And oh no, now there's no show. So I think that Howard was trying to push his lava to the front and center of the stage there. Oh, and so that takes care of that. And then the next, I don't know how, or I don't know all the moving pieces yet, but Loretta and Dickie have some kind of a connection.
Do we think I'm crazy for thinking she's his mom? I don't know what it was.
Well,
it just,
this is the thing.
Me in the stomach with all the mother. I think it's the English major ADHD overthinking part of me that was just like, I see a theme. This is
no, you're right. And Loretta, there is that card on her refrigerator that says Aunt Loretta. And what you were saying about maybe she had a child very young, maybe this child has been raised by like a family member. To think that that's her, another Agatha Christie trope that she's done in so many books.
Oh, yeah.
To think that like your aunt is, to all of a sudden realize as an adult,
she's actually your mom.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not explaining myself very well. So I think that it's possible Dickie thought that she was his aunt, and it just kind of makes sense as to why they're so close. He all of a sudden like became her agent very quickly.
Very quick.
And yes, she's talented, but we also we didn't see him or anybody else really seeing that. Between the table read, we went from the table read to opening night, and then we find out, she's got this wonderful ability to sing and all this stuff. But Dickie was all in. They seemed very close, very fast. And maybe his attention was being diverted from Ben, and Ben did not like that.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I said it from, I think, last episode or the one before, I can't remember, that maybe Dickie and Ben are not really related. And I was wondering if it was because they were like secret lovers or something. I don't think that's it. I think that it's possible that they're not related.
That would be a twist.
Yeah, right. But okay, so before we get into my next kind of theory, what do we think about this Loretta? Why is she staying? Do you really think there was a part that she's turning down in Family Burn Unit? It's quite a stretch to think that she would want this network drama job so bad, and she, has no money. She hasn't made her way as an actor, and she finally gets this huge role on this network drama, and she is turning it down for Oliver to be in his Broadway show. I mean, if the show does well, it's likely that you're going to get you will still get hired on shows like Family Burn Unit. Like, she can still get more jobs like this. So it's not like but I don't know, to pass that up. Nothing's guaranteed as an actor. You just never know if you're going to get a job or not. So it just seems like a really wild thing to think that she would. I just don't know if there was ever really a job that she got hired to do in California.
I also thought, we see her in the very first episode just being absolutely mesmerized by the theater and falling in love with the theater. And on top of that, I think that her feelings towards Oliver are real. And once they had that kind of moment at the piano, I just saw it as this is her dream, is theater. And she feels kind of compelled to go for it this time, as opposed to something
there is that moment
TV
when they're at the
show.
piano and we see her really look at Oliver, and she has this moment of like, oh, if I ever had any feeling that I had to leave him, or like, I don't think I could ever leave, I think I love him. Like she, you know, just like we see the moment where Oliver falls in love with Loretta when she comes in and says, I was in the original cast of Little Shop of Horrors, and as long as we have heart, you know, this play can be as crazy as it wants to be, and as long as we find the heart, it'll be wonderful. And he just like falls for her. He's like, you get it. Oh my God, you get me. Yeah.
And then they had to cut the sweetness with Eat Me Seymour, which cracked me up. That was so funny.
And I don't even think we mentioned it. I don't know how we didn't mention it, because it was definitely in my notes that, like, obviously Little Shop connection, Steve Martin, he was a dentist.
He can sing.
Okay.
Ish.
He can sing, right? The man can sing. Don't get it twisted. Okay, so this is my next theory, and I don't know where it goes, but Ben possibly could be a twin or a triplet. Right. So I really did not want to believe this theory. I did not want to think that this was true.
I don't like that.
He does refer to himself in third person an obnoxious amount.
Well, and Paul Rudd has a history of playing multiple versions of himself, and all of those posters we see in his apartment are him, like, it's Ben with all these different faces, like the million faces of Ben, you know? And when we first like come up in the elevator, there's that huge like Andy Warhol kind of inspired artwork piece of just like all these different faces of Ben.
Oh yeah.
And on rewatching, there's this moment, this huge picture that really gets a long shot when Mabel says, "I've never loved this apartment more." It's like this huge face of Ben with this mustache behind her. And it's like
That
they really
looked
do
like
linger on that. It looks like a different person.
It looks like his Anchorman character to me.
Yeah.
Like, that was when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's what's his name? Brian Fontana or something like that. I can't remember. But I don't know.
There's another thing that I want to show you guys.
I don't
Hold on,
want
let
to
me show you
believe the
this.
triplet thing either.
I don't want to believe it either. It sounds so lame. I know.
But it seems too,
but look
like,
at this.
There's the triplet babies and then triplet. That seems too, I don't know.
soap opera.
It's too on the nose, right? But look at this. Look at this. And I noticed it. I noticed it the first time, and I overlooked it, and I hate myself for overlooking it. I overlooked it. Overlook Hotel. That was good.
Is that The Shining?
It's a shining wallpaper.
I did notice this wallpaper.
Red rum.
And I did think to myself, man, that looks like The Shining wallpaper. I thought nothing of it because why would that relate? That would have nothing to do with anything. But it's true. There is a theme of twins in The Shining. So this cannot be an accident, guys. Like, look at this. It's so exactly this wallpaper.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with The Shining. So it like,
love it.
yeah, of course I would notice that. But yeah, now the more people are saying, it's The Shining. Ben's definitely a twin. Look at this. It was in his apartment, The Shining wallpaper. I'm like, okay.
Good Lord.
It's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore.
Maybe I should get on the internet and look at what other people's theories
There's another
are.
thing.
Now I'm curious.
I have a lot of clues to do with this. So there's another thing. There are these tattoos on Ben's. He's got the Cobra tattoo for Cobra, and then he has these finger tattoos.
Oh! My
GC
brother pointed that out.
for Girl Cop. Yeah.
Yes.
So
they
when he's
change.
the tattoos change when he's in the elevator and when he's at the table read. The tattoo very clearly says GC, and in rehearsal with Oliver, it says CG. There's also no rings on his hand when he's in the elevator, the death picture of him on. I mean, that could just be because he was in the hospital or whatever, but he always has these rings on his hand and he doesn't in the elevator. I don't know. That's here or there. Some people are saying you need to look out for the watch, but I don't know how the watch plays into it at all. But the tattoos do change. That is a thing.
I wonder if that's
a fact.
A fuck up or something, like with the makeup continuity.
I highly doubt it.
That would be a pretty bad continuity.
That was my first thought.
Error. Stranger things have happened, but that would be a really bad one to let slip through on a murder mystery show.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
he's
I don't think it's a
douchebag and wants everybody to think his tattoos are real and he draws them on.
I know, I was thinking that too. So there's other clues that I have to support this theory that Ben could be a twin or a triplet. So he was a child star, right?
Yeah.
Child
They
stars
do
are
frequently
often
need twins.
they're like always twins, right?
Yeah.
So it's also possible that was the reason that Ben's blood was like clean.
Yeah.
If there was some kind of a switcheroo going on, like maybe the first Ben really did die or whatever. But I have a feeling that the thing to do with this red mark, she says when he came out of that dressing room, the red mark was gone. He called someone in to help him take off the red mark. What if it was just his twin who went on stage for him, didn't have a red
as
mark anymore?
opposed to Joy going in and like fixing his
makeup.
And how did her lipstick get there? Some other way.
Somebody could have
dropped
planted
it.
that.
That's true.
I mean, someone just could have taken it from her, and like, who knows how? We all think that Joy is a red herring. I'm very certain that Andrea Martin is not the killer.
Yeah.
I think that this whole lipstick in the dressing room thing. Why was she in the dressing room? I don't think she ever was. I think her lipstick got taken from her somehow. Blah blah blah. Whatever. It's possible that Loretta was in there and left the lipstick. It's possible Howard left the lipstick for whatever reason. But then there's another thing where Ben, at the after party, he doesn't know Cliff's name. He calls him Boy. And it was played for humor, but it also seems like he's a different person, not knowing who these people that he should know's names because he hasn't been around them. Another thing is when he says he didn't know good luck was like a curse in the theater. And he's like, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
You know, when Charles is like, good luck is a curse, you idiot. He's like, of course I know.
that.
So it's possible that his twin maybe stopped acting and he just hasn't been in the theater, so he doesn't know like the lingo, he hasn't been in rehearsals, whatever. Then Dickie says he has a phone call and gets him out of the after party. And he says, Ben,
call is still weird.
and he says, Ben, you have to take this. And Ben goes, oh, Ben's got to take this. Like he talks like the third person. That's
the
weird.
third person thing is odd. Also, stereotypically douchey.
Right, yeah.
But
all of this stuff could be explained away.
That's why this show drives me insane.
Right. The only thing that can't be explained away is the tattoo switch, unless it's just a production mistake, which I highly doubt. But it's possible that it could be. The more and more I watch this and rewatch the episodes, the more, and before I even knew about the twin theory with the tattoo clue, I had written it down already in my notes, and there's no one to, qualify this.
Oh, I believe you.
Take my word for it. I wrote down, it seems like Ben is a different person. And I have been calling it out. Why is he acting so weird? Why is he acting so not like himself? I mean, we don't know who Ben is, but he's acting very out of character. He's not, his performance, I was blaming it on Paul Rudd, stupidly, but it's probably just Paul Rudd being a good actor, Jade, you fucking idiot. So I think that he is just nuancing this part really well by very subtly playing two different people. So is it possible that Ben, it doesn't exist and he's always been two different people his whole acting career? And is it possible that Dickie is not his brother and for whatever reason is playing the part of his brother, or is his triplet and doesn't look like him, like the other two? Because I looked it up, that is possible for triplets to be born and two of them to be identical and one of them to not be identical.
So much older than him.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, to me he does.
I think maybe it's just because Paul Rudd has this like eternal fountain of youth effect that everyone always talks about. I don't think he does. I think he looks his age. He's aging, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's just it's just me. Gotta calls him like I sees him.
I'm not gonna lie. If he's a twin or a triplet, I don't think I'm gonna love it. I will keep watching.
It's going to be quite a silly thing. There's one other thing I wanted to bring up. So Taubert, I don't know how Taubert factors into all of this. I think that Taubert he knows something. We brought it up when we covered the episode, Kara. He let Mabel steal that footage. It was absolutely planted. He knew that there was no one in that dressing room. He was talking to Cookies. He knew that he wanted Mabel to see that. He wanted to, and he's completely faking, oh yeah, you took that footage from me. Oh, you're a smooth one. It's like, no, dude.
Yeah.
Mabel is, if there's one thing we can say about Mabel now, it's that she ain't smooth. Mabel's a big old freaking idiot when it comes to sleuthing and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that,
Mabel.
yeah, that footage was intentionally planted, and the real footage he took from Ben's apartment, I think that we're gonna think that it's Taubert at the end, and it's gonna be twist. It's actually not him. There's something incriminating that is on camera, that was caught on camera, that would incriminate Taubert, and it would make him look guilty. And he knew that he had to retrieve that from Ben's apartment.
I could see that.
I could see that too.
If it got into the wrong hands, he would be, the cops would be like, oh, we have
the
our man.
baby elephant thing. That was a possibility that popped in my head. Like maybe this time, again, he didn't interfere. And there was something with, he either caught it on film or something with Loretta and, I don't know, Ben or somebody pushing Ben, which I still think is most likely Loretta. And he was either worried about being held responsible or wanting, time to put together his own footage or theory in order to have a successful documentary.
Well,
but
and Taubert was really ready to believe that they had caught the killer.
Yes.
We have the man. We have our man. Let's go with that. Okay.
And him joining up with Mabel gives him more control and more access to what the theories are.
Yeah, there's a bit of evidence that incriminates him that he does not want Mabel to see because she'll podcast on it. And so
he
he's
knows
thinking,
about our podcast. He knows about her. So he knows.
Yeah. Did you guys think it was weird
so
that
charming.
he had listened to her Did you think it was weird that he listened to Mabel's podcast, but then he pretended not to know her name?
No, I think it's probably intentional, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he's a liar.
Yeah. Or like a weird form of negging or something. Like not wanting to come across like, oh, I listen to your podcast. I'm a fan. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I think we're on to something though, guys. I don't know. I just wonder if we're just going down the garden path of just what they want us to think.
Like way off.
That's good. That makes it more fun.
I know. I just hope next episode has some meat to it and is not fillery-ish. Because I enjoyed this episode, but I want, now I'm ready for it to move forward a little bit.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Episode 5, so it's right in the
Right
middle.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I'm ready for
still
some
so
real
early
clues. I know. All right, with that, let's move in to something that makes me delighted. It just makes me so very, very happy. Listeners, my lovely, lovely listeners. Goddamn, I love you guys. You did it. You done did it. We used to have a really low rating on Apple Podcasts, and that has completely changed.
One review.
Yeah, we had one terrible 2-star review, and we had a bunch of 1-star ratings because it's always like the dickies, the dickies,
the
assholes,
The Donnas.
Yes, but you guys have united and you have given us so much love. So we have to take a moment and we have to read some of these lovely reviews because when it comes to flattery, it's not like I get so little of it, but in the theater, for performing, you don't get complimented. You often just get rejected. And if you do well, then you get no notes. No news is good news in the theater, as they say. So when you get a note and it's a complimentary note, it's like, oh my God, really? You liked me? Oh my God, really? Can you say it again? Can you tell me, did you really like it? So yes, thank you for liking it. And if you like it, tell us that you like it. Yeah.
Yes,
more reviews, please.
you.
It just, you guys, when we are doing all the work that goes into this podcast, and a lot of work goes into it, a lot of love, it's a labor of complete love. But it's, time consuming. It doesn't pay any money, but we do it because we love it. And getting this kind of feedback and getting this kind of affirmation, it's just, there are no words. I don't want to cry, but I could if I let myself. So thank you. Thank you for the love.
Yeah. And I will say, remember, if you have any suggestions or feedback in general of how
we can always do better.
What we could do better, what you do want to see on the podcast, always email us, post it on Facebook, on our Facebook groups. We want to know. We want to hear about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to tell Jade to stop talking so much, that's fine. I give myself that note every time. I was very chatty today. Sorry about that. I got very excited. Okay, so before we get into all the love reviews, that we did get one 1-star review. So I will read that one first and end on a high note. So, because it's always best to end on a high or Near a high. So our 1-star review titled Listen to Yourself is by Dawn DKP. Those who listen pay attention to predictions for season 3 this group makes. It is easy to say, I knew who it was 100% when reviewing a completed season, review season 2, episode 6 through 10. It was disappointing to listen to more criticism than insight or insider knowledge about making a show. I don't understand why you started a podcast about a show you don't seem to be very impressed with. I don't fully understand this review because from what I remember, Erica, when we reviewed season 2, I had a great time. I remember saying it wasn't as good as season 1, and I remember saying like the writing wasn't as strong, but I fully
think we
loved
gushed
a lot. So, okay.
And it wasn't about
know.
making predictions at that point because it was a recap. We
Yeah.
watched it thoroughly.
And I mean, yes, there is no
a couple times.
Yeah, right. No, I did. She's pointing out, or they are pointing out one moment where I said I knew it was Poppy pretty early on. And that's true. I did. No one can qualify this. You got to take my word for it, but I
but
did.
people who don't know, who are listeners, Jade is like, she's
Mystery
probably,
obsessed.
like read and seen more mysteries than any human that I know. And look, there are a lot of patterns and tropes that if you are paying attention and read a lot of mysteries, you will start to spot things from a mile away sometimes. So
I thought season 2 was the most predictable. Jan, I had no idea. That one shocked me, which is crazy. Like embarrassing
until
to say,
she
but I was
stabbed
shocked.
herself.
Yeah.
The stabbing. I was like,
Totally.
we all talked about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I've been worried that we were doing too much gushing sometimes about
me
this
too.
show. So it makes, I have a feeling they listened to maybe a couple episodes and stopped with that one because there's a lot of gushing with
It's just
season
interesting how
3.
some people have selective hearing, so this person just heard all the negative and
And also the 1 star,
wow.
like what's the 1 star for? I don't know.
I know you clearly listened to
They were
both
not
episodes of us reviewing season 2. So, because she says it's mostly, she points out, why do I keep saying she? I don't know if this Dawn, because I guess I so sorry. They pointed out the review of season 2 was the thing, or sorry, the second part of our season 2 review was the thing that they had the most problem with. So clearly you listened to both episodes. This is free content. I repeat, free, 100% free. Enjoy. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bitch.
All one star
Oh,
does
God.
is it puts us lower, and it's not nice.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's not nice.
If you want to give us like your feedback to us is something okay. It allowed Jade to talk about, allowed us to talk about, but the 1 star just was like mean. That's like eh.
I mean, I personally just don't leave 1-star reviews on podcasts. I would rather reach out with constructive criticism, or I just stop listening because that's always an option.
It's true.
Yep.
Doing this for a while now, we know that not everybody is going to love what we put out there. Clearly,
And some people just get
But
their kicks from tearing down people, and we're very
I was going to say
loving.
from champagne.
Yeah.
I get no kicks from 1-star reviews. I don't. It's true. I
jeez.
don't.
No,
Ugh, but we did get really nice reviews.
we did. And
So that was helpful.
Yeah.
So our next review comes from Crizzo. Kimmy, in parentheses, saying, #1 fan here. I listen to several popular and very funny podcasts, but this gem was a rare find. I wish everyone could find this podcast. This is not a structured podcast, which is what I love.
Well, it's not very structured.
She said it's full of deep dives and is the place for discussion, introspection, mystery, and lots of fun. When I found these, this is so nice. When I found these marvelous hostesses, I thought, where have you been? I finally found you.
Aww. Crizzo, Kimmy. That was
That's
sweet.
Very sweet.
Thank you so much.
That was so sweet. So another sweet review was from this is from OH, and it says, Fun and Juicy Gab. The charming moderators host a playful and inquisitive discussion of this week's episode. Recommended. Thank
Yay.
you, OH.
Nice.
And then one of our patrons, this is from Kimberly, I believe, a geek mommy. She writes, perfectly marvelous. Jade, Kara, and Erica are perfectly marvelous at covering Only Murders in the Building. If you're looking for a fun, in-depth, and engaging discussion of the hit Hulu show, you have come to the right feed. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Kimberly.
That's nice. This next one is from, let's see, it's maybe SKA Lima 8. Said, amazing. Love podcasts, and this will be one of my go-to as I love murder mysteries. Highly entertaining, humorous, and insightful. Thanks, girls.
Aw.
You're great. That's very nice.
Thank you.
And now this one's from Starman Jody. I love David Bowie. I think that might have something to do with it.
I think so.
All right. So this is awesome and entertaining. I totally enjoyed this. They put their heart into this, and it shows. Thank you.
Thank you so much for recognizing that, because we really do.
We do.
We love it. We love it so much. Wendy52378, so entertaining. Excellent podcast. Thank you so much for all the work you put into this. Keep them coming. We shall, baby.
Yep.
Then Nick 1991 exclamation mark said, amazing. I love their feedback. Not sure why anyone would rate it 1 star. They all have their stuff together.
Aw.
That's true.
Nick.
Yeah, we do.
We
do.
try.
Even when we kind of don't. We still do.
All right, our next one's from Latcher Lay, a must listen. I was tempted to write a review after seeing the previous one because I'm convinced the person who left it hasn't listened to any of this podcast.
Makes you wonder sometimes. It makes you wonder
mystery.
sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. I love Omit B and murder mysteries in general, and I've learned so much listening to these ladies. Their theories are fantastic, and they each bring really unique takes and experience to their analysis. For example, 2 have acting experience. One seems to be a career actor, and one of them was a former prosecutor. I loved hearing from somebody with real life experience with murder cases. Hearing tidbits about acting and insider knowledge in general has really enhanced my viewing of the show. Keep it up, the great work. Thank you so much, Latcher Lay.
Thank you, baby. Okay, this next review is from my mama. I will admit. Barbie Lynn C. She says, love this podcast. I love this podcast. The insights are incredible, and I appreciate you all sharing your thoughts and the way you articulate yourselves. What a fresh take on a great series. So original. Thank you, mama.
Thanks, Jade's
Thank
mom.
you, Mama.
Thank you. Just again, we can't say it enough. Just from the bottom of our perfectly marvelous little hearts, right to the bottom of your perfectly marvelous little heart. Thank you so much, guys.
Very
really
appreciated.
Thank you.
When I saw all of these reviews, it just gave me such a oh my God, we're doing this for a reason. Okay, let's just keep going. Now I really want to keep going. You know, it really does give you a boost of it's like a hit of
Serotonin, dopamine.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like
Motivation.
drive. Motivation. Thank you, God. That's the word. It really is.
Ice cream.
And yeah, you know, just yes. Anyway, all right. I wanted to bring up a couple of things that I found interesting. There's a couple of links I'm going to put in the show notes. As far as news goes, we haven't done a whole lot of news on this show, but I wanted to mention these 2 things that I found fascinating. So, first of all, Martin Short was nominated for Best Actor in a Comedy Series in the upcoming Emmys, and they announced that episode 5, The Tell, for
that
season
was
2.
so good. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're submitting that episode. So I wanted to let you all know that for 2023 Emmys, he will be competing against Bill Hader in Barry, Jason Segel in Shrinking, and Jason Sudeikis in Ted Lasso, and Jeremy Allen White in The Bear.
Well,
A lot of heavy hitters.
It's
Lots of heavy
it's-
hitters.
I had to, yeah. The show received 11 total nominations, but yeah, that's it's going to be a tough run of it. If I had to say the way that the world is right now and just the way I have a feeling that it's not going to be Martin Short, sadly. I have a feeling that Ted Lasso is just so huge right now that Jason Sudeikis could take this one, or Jeremy Allen White, because The Bear is doing...
I was like,
But it's also Martin Short. So
I know.
And I don't believe Martin
that's
Short
true.
has ever won an Emmy. So
No, he has. He won
Has
for
he?
Best Actor, in Only Murders. I think season 1.
was that from the first? Yeah.
first season. So then you're right.
Yeah, I was about to say Jeremy Allen White might be my pick, but then I'm thinking, no, I can't. No, it's
Especially
definitely
because
Martin Short.
Ted Lasso ended. So
Yeah.
they might want to give it to him. But all well deserving.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be an intense Emmys this year. Mm-hmm. So there's another article that I wanted to let you guys know about that talks about the costumes. There's like tons of cool costume inspirations. They're very mindful about colors and cuts and patterns and prints, especially for Mabel. They're dressing her in stuff from Broadway that's inspired by other Broadway shows like Little Shop of Horrors, Guys and Dolls, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Sweet Charity. And obviously like a lot of Little Shop references for Steve Martin. And I think the Sweet Charity probably for a nod to Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the one example that they gave was like that green plaid jacket on Mabel when they discovered Ben's body, which I clocked and was like, I love that jacket. That's inspired by Guys and Dolls, like the plaid suits.
Okay.
And there's a purple plaid shirt that Mabel wears when they're watching the footage with Taubert. And that was apparently inspired by Showboat. And then there's this button-down pinstripe look, which we all commented on, I think, at the funeral. That is inspired by Chicago, all the pinstripe.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then they mentioned that season 2 costumes were inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's like famous Hitchcock blondes, you know, like Tippi Hedren, Kim Novak, and Grace Kelly. And when I look back on it, I think, yeah, she was wearing a lot of like basics, you know, like she was kind of a blank canvas in seasons 1 and 2. But yeah, I love Mabel's like minimalist style and like statement pieces. Like her big chunky sweaters.
Yeah.
And also in this article, there was an interesting tidbit that Donna and Cliff are based on real life mother and son producing team Daryl and Jordan Roth, which I have to look into more.
Did Daryl and Jordan Roth also kiss each other on the lips?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is that
and I'm
real?
Like, that's a nice reference. I guess it's nice to know that these people are based on real people, sort of, I guess, kind of.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm sure they're not incestuous. I'm hopefully sure.
Oh,
but yeah,
that's fun.
I want to do more research on them though and see if I can.
Curious.
Figure out what, because I don't know what they've produced or anything. I just discovered that right before we started podcasting. So didn't have enough time to do all the Googling I would have liked to do. All right, so that is going to wrap it up for episode 4, but don't touch that dial. We're about to dive into my favorite after dinner delightful treat, listener feed crack. You guys had a bunch of great theories this week, and so we're about to go into all of them. So join us over there for part 2, the feed crack. Say crack again. Crack. I love it. I can't get enough. And if you have thoughts and theories, please share them with us. The point of the show is to share theories and all play detective together. So if you guys agree, or especially if you don't agree, like tell us your theories and tell us why we're wrong. You know,
I want to know all the things.
Yeah, I would be I honestly would be more excited if my guesses were not, if we were all totally off the mark here, you know?
Right.
If our
like there's something, there's like a moment of satisfaction of being right. And then it's like, oh, I called it.
Because I love being surprised. And I love when this show can, So if you have theories that are, if you know about these twists and turns, if you know better than us, tell us. Don't just sit there and leave a 1-star review. Don't just do all that. Don't be that bitch. Nobody likes that bitch. Sorry, no one likes it. You look so old when you leave a 1-star review. You look so unattractive. Just letting you know. Only when you leave a 1-star review, though. Okay, anyway, and remember to please subscribe, download. All of the links are in the description.
Yes. So come back next time for our review of Season 3, Episode 5, Love. And in the meantime, leave us your feedback on Episode 4. Write to us or leave us a voice message and tell us what you think.
And you can email us at perfectlymarvelouspodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at perfectlymarvelouscast, or come along and join our Only Perfectly Marvelous Murders in the Building Facebook group and share your feedback and theories there, for sure.
Seriously, guys, follow us on Facebook. I would love to get more of a discussion going on our page over there. We're sharing all kinds of cool links. Everyone in the group shares really cool stuff. So,
it's so much fun as the season is actually happening.
Yeah, I know. I just love it. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Jade the Naked Lady, all one word. My loves, my dears, my darlings, my hearts. I've had such a marvelous time talking with you. Listeners, thank you so much for being with us.
I'm Kara.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Jade.
Thank you and good night. I'm having trouble making eye contact with you, Erica.
What did I do up here?
Too soon! Erica, God, think of the children. Pray it out. Find a priest. Save yourself.
Tom is a Christian, Erica.